But with this current meta, everyone seems to be always on that high octane pacing, which I am not generally surprised about. With their Gacha coming in from the roam position of the side of Team Cambodia, they are looking for counter. They're looking for game number 1 between Cambodia versus Philippines. And right off the bat, we already have something really crazy down in the bottom lane. As you can see, that UEE did manage to suffer a little bit of damage from the side of Khalid. Not like it's gonna be that big of a deal. But the Fanny is gonna be starting off at the purple buff, while the Hayabusa starting in their own respective purple buff. So both of the junglers is actually going to be landing on opposite sides of the lane.
This is a little different, right, from the other games that we've seen all throughout the day, where the Hilda has always been placed in the EXP lane. So this is the first time that I'm going to be seeing it today, and we're going to figure out what the differences are in terms of how they would want to execute things. But as of the moment, it is not off to a good start, as the Philippines get the first blood on it. And it will go to Al Puerto, which is the best case scenario, because you'd want the Hayabusa to scale very well in terms of objectives.
Honestly, this is a little bit of a gamble, in my honest opinion, from the side of Cambodia. Looking at the draft with a high loss as well as a Khalid, it's kind of like both teams are trying to get a read on each other, and Cambodia actually wins in that read. In the meantime, we're just going to be looking at Vivero did actually somehow manage to get a kill on the Hilda. I don't know how that works out, but this is actually really interesting. So don't mind me, I'm going to ramble a little bit on. But Philippines, they picked up the Hylos as well as the Khalid. Both of them is kind of like an either-or situation. So they would want to put a Hylos over to the EXP because they expected that the Hilda is going to be the one that goes over to the EXP. This way, they will be able to kind of tally things out, and that way that the Hilda would not get a free reign in the EXP. While the Cambodia believes that that is what Philippines is going to do, so they swapped it out. They made the Gacha go over to the EXP lane instead, so that they still get the advantage of a Hilda versus the Khalid kind of interaction.
So far, the advantage is that the Philippines has a really strong trio mid, because those are 3 pretty agile heroes, with 2 of them having crowd control skills as well. Now is going to be UE on the other side, looking for a way to be able to dish out the damage going up against El Puerto. But then all of a sudden, it's going to be the Vexana going down, and then it is the Yagon out of everybody that got the turtle for the side of the Philippines, and UE puts the pressure on El Puerto, but she still stays alive. Meanwhile, Moshi on the other hand is still trying to dish out the damage as well. Most of the members coming in from both the Philippines and Cambodia are trying to go tooth and nail, but the brawl is going to be ending right there with UE going down. 3rd death already coming in from the Hilda, and the Philippines getting a lot of what they wanted, already getting 2k in terms of gold.
Oh, Cambodia really scrambling at pieces. As much as I will believe that Cambodia is supposed to get the lead of things, they have a winning lane in the gold lane, supposedly. And not to forget, when it comes down to the roaming... Oh, hold on a second. Quick little flicker from Nabi. While in the meantime, the rough waves also from the side of Amoris. So, honestly, Cambodia, they are supposed to win in the early stages of the game, but somehow they have been caught off guard a little bit too many times.
Yeah, I think it's also an addition wherein UE is kind of like having a difficult time in terms of like scaling very well. I'm talking about the Bruno. I just realized that UE and UE kind of sound like the same. So I'm going to try to figure something out so that we can do something about it. But again, in terms of the scaling, Cambodia is having a hard time because the Bruno is also sharing the lane together with a Clint, which is a really good early to mid game hero as well, and you can feel the critical damage oozing out of the bullets coming in from the Clint. So Bruno's having a bit of a hard time, given that Bruno already is at a bit of a disadvantage, and not only that, they would want to do another thing more, as the AOG is going to be there as well, but UEE is going to try his best to make sure to stay alive, but that's not going to be the case here. Tegami looking for someone to slay, and she gets the Kadita as of the moment, 2 for the price of 1 here, but it's still the Philippines in the lead here, slowly inching their way to extending that gold gap.
We're looking at a 3,000 gold lead in favor for Philippines, and to make matters worse, El Puerto knew that SA Hayabusa has got a lot of lead ahead. So going forward, that Sky Piercer is definitely gonna be great to his name. You should be able to get some really good stacks up on top of Cambodia, especially since they've gotten a really good lead. And let's not forget, Ogi Shadow Kill traces Tegami, even as he's soaring through the skies with his cables.
Yeah, although there's a trade that Cambodia is going to be doing here, yes, the Philippines got the turtle for themselves, which, gives them a bit of an extra shield in terms of those team fights. But Cambodia has had permanent damage already from the base of the Philippines by getting the first turret of this game. UEE doing a really good job, even though she's already died at least 4 times in this matchup. She never gave up in at least dishing out the information for the rest of her teammates to be able to use it as well. So at some point in time, there wasn't really any sort of disadvantage that Cambodia had upon giving up that turtle. And Diagon was forced, or somewhat really not really forced, just she wanted to give the pressure towards the Bruno. She wasn't anticipating that most of the members are going to be there, but that wasn't the case. Revitalize is going to be utilized by UEE at this point in time, but Amores just taking a lot to take there in terms of the damage output. But then there's going to be the AOE, or AOG rather, coming in from the rest of the members. Enraging Sandstorms are going to be utilized. Perez is still staying alive, and the fan is going out. Moshi in the middle of it all. A lot of the members are trying to find a way to be able to at least execute and dish out the damage as well. But at the Philippines, getting through, Nabi making sure that she will be the one to stay alive. But that is not going to be the case as well, as a triple kill lands on towards Vivero. Alpuerto against Yui this time around, but most of that Ugi Shadow kill lands towards the rest of the members in Yui against Alpuerto. The flicker didn't work. How unfortunate was it for Alpuerto, or actually for the rest of the members? And now here's a cha-cha dance, and Tegami's not gonna hit. The Philippines continues to...
Why did Cambodia force that fight? Oh, it hurt that the AOG didn't land on the majority of them, right? We all can agree that AOG is not an initiating spell. As long as the team, or rather, as long as you have already started up a team fight and Philippines has already been deeply rooted in the battle, only then an AOG is going to be great to initiate, or because it's more of a follow-up at a point in time. But Moshe decided to go for an AOG into an initiating team fight, and they ran right into the face of Philippines. Yes, they definitely do have very strong AOE battle. If they are looking at the internal guard, they are looking at the rest from the side of Nabi. There's a reason why Nabi did manage to get a decent amount of kills in that one and survive.
Well, look at this now. Perez getting the brunt of the damage as well. She's trying to stay alive as we speak, as Tegami is still struggling to take that purple objective of hers. Alpuerto already using the Ugi Shadow kill as well. But then a transition onto the bottom side as Yui goes down into the hands of the Philippines, and Vivero unleashing those basic attacks once again. This is the change that the Philippines did compared to the first trade that has happened in like the first few minutes of the game, right? In exchange of a turtle, Cambodia was able to take that turret up top and also the Clint. But then all of a sudden, because they're putting the tanky members down low, they were not only able to get the turtle, but also take a turret and maybe a life here, depending on the situation and how it's going to go, because the Games again is going to be able to go down. Amores is going to keep things for herself, but the only problem is that UEE, she just landed that ultimate onto the minions. I'm not sure if I saw it correctly, but man.
Well, we haven't really managed to see a lot from the Fanny from the side of Cambodia. Initially, we were just thinking, wait, is Tegami mostly playing the Fanny that is not very comfortable? Because so far we have only been seeing mostly 2 cables, 3 cables kind of Fanny. But in that fight just now, it's been very clear that Tegami actually does know how to play the Fanny. Can straight cable pretty effectively, but hold a second, bottom lane.
Yup, they're gonna be effective actually in taking down this bottom lane turret. That last hit coming in from Yui is gonna be successful. So in terms of the turrets, Cambodia's cut down that Philippines lead to just 1 turret in terms of the lead, but UEE now is going to be taking a bit of that damage output, but she's going to regenerate those HP bars courtesy of hiding in the bush, but that is not going to be enough. There goes the EG boy once again. Eternal Guardian landing onto the rest of the members of the Philippines, and then all of a sudden, it's going to be Moshi going down next, 3 for the price, or 2 for the price of none, courtesy of the Philippines getting a lead over here, and 6K is still almost the standard gold lead that the Philippines is holding on to.
This is really interesting. Like one thing that I was I was looking at Philippines and I'm thinking, wait, they are playing in all of these team fights, and I respect that they have damage. I respect that they are tanky as well, but they shouldn't be getting out of these team fights with so much HP to work with. And it just made me double back to take a look at the battle spells. Indeed, it's true. It is true. They have to revitalize on Vivero as well as Diagon.
Oh, they were looking for Yui the entire time, but then all of a sudden Yui escaped, but at the price of three. Three Cambodians go down as of that moment, and at this time, the Philippines are just making sure to continue their aggression. It was, what I would call a mission failed successfully because they were looking for the Bruno, but they got 3 heroes instead. Now they want to go off and finish this game with only UEE and Yui trying to go for it as well. UEE just taking a lot of damage up, but no more pushes to just let her heal. Now Nabi and the rest of the members are trying to stay alive here. Moshi trying to use that avatar of the Guardian to at least give out the pressure to the rest of the Filipinos, but they already got more than what they wanted because they already broke down the inhibitor on the mid lane. Oh my goodness, I cannot believe what I saw. How is that possible? But then Diagon all of a sudden is going to try to go at it as well. And that might be it. Abstract, this is your turn, man. I'm sure that there's no fight after this.
Honestly, at this point in time, it's just so tough for us to be able to do anything at this point in time for the side of the Philippines. They are just essentially gone for the count right now, so they really is having a lot of difficulty to play around this.
Yeah, they're gonna have to relax though, because that is not how things are supposed to go if you are Cambodia. And then there comes the glorious pathway as well. The perfect run coming in from the Philippines because the red carpet was already brought down, and Moshi just follows Yui in as of that moment, and it's gonna be an unstoppable for Paris at this point in time. 4 heroes are down. It's only gonna be Nabi trying to defend, and with that KDA, it is close to nothing that Cambodia is gonna do. But just an incredible performance coming in from the Philippines as they got another win to start things off. Game number 1 goes to the Philippines.
Oh boy,